My name is Wojciech Waśniewski, and I'm the education manager of the CPG. Also working as the director of education for the PGA of Poland, but I've got my CPG hat on right now. I'd like to welcome you on behalf of Martin Westphal, CPG's director of development and innovation, and Jonathan Money, the chairman of the what used to be the education committee or the Golf Development Advisory Board. It will be just me presenting this session, just mainly for technical reasons. But Martin and Jonathan will join us for the breakout groups, and when we discuss what will be part of this session, which I'll try to keep short and concise. But there is quite a few things that I would like to go through relating to education and CPG's activities in education over the next year, which we'd like to cover and then discuss with you. So just to start off with, I would like to link to last year's Congress for those of you who are there, and for those of you who haven't, just give you a very quick background on the education activities of the CPG. So I'm going to divide it into three stages, or it is divided into three stages. So it started off with the Roma Agreement in 1993 and the creation of the minimum standards, where all the major PGAs came together and agreed on the minimum standards. And what's more important, they agreed that it makes no sense for all of us to create one education program for the whole of Europe or the whole of the world, as the differences between the countries are substantially enough for this to not make sense. So then the system of evaluation, recognition and re-evaluation of national education programs was created. Then the second stage was creation of the European education level system, stemming from the Golf Stand project, which was an EU-funded project, which consisted of a market research and a research around roles in golf and the occupational standards and what each role, what skills and knowledge would a role need, and that was developed into European education level system. So again, minimum requirements for education programs in countries to be recognized. What's important with this stage was that it became possible for each and every country to become recognized on some level. So it's starting off with the IPE, the lowest level, initial professional education, covering basics of coaching, the game and the industry as the minimum requirements for someone working in golf as a professional. However, still many countries, and we could see it then and we can see it now, are unable to finance education up to a level that they would like to have it on. A couple more important events was in 2011, the IPE program as delivered by CPG was developed in conjunction with the major PGAs and delivered in countries where there is no structured education programs in place, as well as for individuals from countries where there is no structured education in place. And it's been met with what was a great success and very valued by the industry and the countries that don't or can't have, or it doesn't make sense for them to have a structured education. And then in 2013, the International Golf Coaching Framework was published by the IGF, which is an important event as it was the first time where coaching was taken out of the professional education and discussed on its own. And now we're moving into stage 3, which was introduced last year at the Congress in Portugal, nicely called the Berlin Plot, or Jonathan and Martin were mainly involved. And the ideas of the DNA of learning and the University of Golf were proposed. So an idea allowing everyone to create their own DNA of learning and much better, much easier access to knowledge and qualifications through the University of Golf. But it's still built on the same guiding principles of sharing, working together, collaboration, and most importantly, the recognition of high quality of education. So now we're in stage 3, and we're moving into the implementation of some of these ideas, which we'll discuss in this presentation, at least on a high level. So the main strategic goals of everything we do in education, I'd like to propose to put it in four main pillars. So the first one, and the most important one, probably, is to increase the value of all professionals in golf through applied skills development based on local market needs. So we need the education of golf professionals, but actually all professionals in golf, to be valuable for the market. Then we want the education to be accessible. We want to support access to education for all PGAs and their members. Our goal is also to keep the education high quality, so to develop and recognize modern, flexible education systems and delivery up to highest international standards. So what started as the recognition, reevaluation process, we definitely want to continue that, maybe in a slightly modernized way. And lastly, keep the education collaborative, to collaborate internationally to develop and share people, expert people, materials, systems, protocols, and programs for the benefit of all. So what I'm gonna talk about, as I said, I tried to do it briefly, is 5 projects, 5 areas that we're moving into, or we've started, or we're working on in 2021. So to start off with is the Erasmus Plus EduGolf project, which is a project that gained EU funding from the European Commission. We're successful, put a successful application a few months ago. The project is called Modernizing Education and Training to Meet the Changing Skills Needs of Golf in Europe. And in a way, you can think of it as an update to the Golf Stand project. So it starts in January 2021. It's gonna take place over 3 years, so up to the end of 2023. And it involves 10 partners. So the coordinator of the application of the project is EOSE, European Observatory of Sport and Employment, which we have representatives of on this call, and they will join the groups. So they're happy to provide you with a bit more information on the project. And the CPG as the technical lead of the project. The other 8 partners are PGAs, the PGA of Sweden and PGA of Belgium, 3 national federations working alongside national PGAs. That's French Golf Federation, Royal Spanish Golf Federation, and the Polish Golf Union, as well as 2 universities, which is National University of Ukraine on Physical Education and Sport in Ukraine, and the University of Applied Sciences for Sport and Management in Germany. And lastly, last partner is EDGA, which used to be called European Disabled Golf Association. And all these partners will create, we'll do the project together, and this will result in 5 main outputs. So starting off with a research report, as I said, a little bit of an update to the Golf Stand project, to seeing whether the market has changed, how it's changed, how the education could support the market's needs across Europe. And then through the project, we'll develop updated European occupational standards for golf, but most importantly, education and training handbook for golf in Europe, innovative online learning, and sustainable strategic action plan to put the results of this project in place on a sustainable basis for everyone to benefit from. So what are the benefits for all PGAs, for all our member country PGAs from this project? Well, it's the access to market research, the education resources that will be available for the project, online learning, and an updated flexible education framework that through the project, through EduGolf, we'll be able to work on and deliver. And so let's talk about the new or updated flexible education framework a little bit more here. So we would like a new education framework to be much more flexible, based on an identification of market-led career pathways, potentially more than just PGA professional pathway. And we would like to allow for a modular approach to education with transferable credits that individuals could go through and then transfer them across different pathways if they want to go up a specific career pathway, and on their own terms as well in terms of time. One of the areas or the focus of the framework would also be a slight shift of focus towards soft skills and golf development, again, to increase the value of professionals in golf at the golf club. It will cover basic education, as I said, across various career pathways, including coaching, but more importantly, it will be divided into levels. So not just one education package, but at various levels, at various career pathways. It will also cover CPD education. So what are the benefits for PGAs from the new education framework? Well, it will be more flexibility in designing and running education systems based on countries' needs. The idea stays the same as it was. Now we're just taking the next step forward. The next project we're working on, we've already started, and it will be developed as part of the EduGolf project as well, is the CPG Knowledge Hub. So it was mentioned by Ian yesterday. It's part of the strategy, and it is a centralized, internal shared platform of knowledge coming from member country PGAs and also from external education partners. In a way, it's an extension of the new flexible framework, but also, again, a step forward, providing more support to national PGAs in providing high quality of education to their members. So the platform would host content, for example, presentations, videos, references, handbooks, but also through the platform, we will be able to, or the PGA will be able to access tutor training to be able to deliver and assess each of the modules on the hub. It would also host CPD events, recordings, and materials, so not just the basic education, but also ongoing CPG education. We have started working on the Knowledge Hub, at least on the coaching stream. We obviously already have some content from the IPE program and from some other programs that were delivered through the CPG, but we are taking the next step and pulling the best pieces together from the education programs of the PGA of Holland, represented in the working group by Jimmy van Heuven van Steeling, PGA of Germany represented by Hendrik Baines, and the PGA of Sweden represented by Henrik Lisek. Obviously, the benefits for the PGAs are hopefully quite clear. So it's better access to education, efficiencies, and savings in development. As if a PGA would like to license some content from the Knowledge Hub, they wouldn't have to keep it updated every year. They could just use or pick and choose the best parts from the Knowledge Hub. And it's also new revenue streams, as the PGAs the PGAs and organizations putting knowledge into the hub would obviously benefit financially from licensing the content to other PGAs. So to put this project in a graphical form, we've got the member country PGAs at the top, as well as other education partners, putting knowledge, content, people, resources into the Knowledge Hub, some of it through the EduGolf project, some of it outside the EduGolf project. On the sides of the Knowledge Hub, we've got on one side the EOS framework, which we'll continue to use as our main reference for the whole education package for a golf professional. And also we've got the new education framework, the updated flexible modular framework. On the other side, we've got the LMS Learning Management System, a tool that we'll use to host the Knowledge Hub, and that would also be available for PGAs to use as part of their own education. This Knowledge Hub would allow us in providing the following services to the PGAs, which is continuation of recognition of national education programs, tutor training, but also content licensing, direct access to education, which would be both modules and courses, as well as tools licensing, as I said, with an example of the LMS. This would all be available to member country PGAs, which would then be available for PGA members. And obviously, as part of the education systems in each and every country, the program would have to take into account national qualification systems, as well as national federations' needs. So moving on to the tool, to the learning management system, we went through a few months of research to check what we would need as the CPG and as PGAs, member country PGAs, how we could use economies of scale and the collaborative approach to use the learning management system. So first of all, the LMS would host the Knowledge Hub, so it would act as a central repository of content, references, and videos. More importantly, it will be available for PGAs taking advantage of the economies of scale to use on their own through fully branded subportals and a complete control over the platform to improve the education quality, accessibility, administration, and assessment of both in-person and online education delivery. And it's something that is very valuable for the whole membership. So it can be used as part of the basic education for trainees, as well as for other members by providing CPD opportunities, as well as tools to track learning and CPD history. So it's something. So it's a tool, administrative tool, or a support tool that enhance the quality of education provision in by the PGA. And it's also, we hope this will become a profit center for all PGAs, an opportunity to share and sell CPD events or e-learning courses or webinars across wider membership, so members of other PGAs. Revenues will obviously be shared by everyone. And the LMS as a central platform would help us move towards a central platform supporting the development of professionals, staff, players, and ultimately the game of golf worldwide. Benefits for the PGAs, it's access to the Knowledge Hub, huge savings in administration, and enhanced quality of education and assessment. This is something that each individual PGA would be unable to, most individual PGAs would be unable to implement on their own. But as part of the collective, we think we should be able to have it as a service to national PGAs. So through our research process, we have identified an LMS provider, D2L, and the platform Brightspace to be what we think is the best choice for us as CPG and for the member country PGA. So it's a platform. Well, D2L has been a platform for a long while now, with huge imprint on the market, over 1,300 customers, 20 years of experience, and 50 million users worldwide using the system daily. And that's universities, but also a number of large corporate partners. Some of them you can see here. More importantly, Brightspace is also used by our member country PGA of Canada, and they've implemented a Brightspace system a while ago, and it's supporting their education system. A representative of D2L will also be in one of the groups when we go into the discussion groups later. So how does what does an LMS system look like, and what does Brightspace look like? Just to point out, we haven't signed a contract yet, but we'll get to that in a I guess in groups as well. So what could the system look like? Here is a screenshot of what the system looks like. You can see some courses at the bottom, messaging functionality, assessment functionality. You can access the content. But as you can see in the left, the top left corner, it's CPG branded, but that's not what, if a PGA decides to license the system to use it for their own education, this is not what the members would see. The members and the users would see fully branded, in this example, with a Polish PGA logo, fully localized and translated platform, which is only provided by CPG, but actually with the member country PGA's logo and branding put at the forefront. So this is the main area, the learning support area, what it could look like as a demo, as an example. This is a screenshot of a catalog of courses. So this is so the platform comes with an e-commerce component where member country PGAs will be able to put in, as well as access some courses if needed, and obviously it's all in full control of the PGA. And lastly, this is an example of how the CPD module looks like. So allowing for tracking CPD history and learning history of your members, if required, to, for example, keep a license active, which we might cover at the second section of this of the education section of the Congress. So this is the LMS, which we'll discuss in the groups, and lastly, and pulling everything together, the new projects and products would enhance the education support that the CPG can provide to member country PGAs. First of all, through the continuation of the recognition process, of the EU's process of recognition, reevaluation, and the quality control of education in each member country PGAs, but also through support in the development of education systems through the access to content, access to training, and access to education directly, but also in some wider development services, such as help in finding local partners, or help in creating the education system to fill all markets, federations, and your members' needs. benefits for PGAs are actually as above. International recognition still to be provided by CPG, as always, as this is our main role. But also access to resources, access to support, access to education, if unable to be delivered inside the country. And those are the main bits that we wanted to cover. And let's now discuss this in the breakout groups. So first of all, there will be some pointers for the moderators. Let's discuss the education framework. Is your current education fitting the needs of the golf clubs and the golf industry? How flexible is it? Do you think you might want to create some new career pathways that you think a market might need? And also, let's discuss the Knowledge Hub and the LMS. Would you agree that there is value in collaboration in education and in a shared LMS? How would you use an LMS, and would it be reasonable for you to join in soon? And also, is there anything that you would like to propose to put on the Knowledge Hub? Are there any top experts, content, or modules from your education systems that might benefit the collective? And also, what is lacking in your education? Where do you see the platform, the Knowledge Hub, being most helpful to you? So those are the discussion points. Let's move into the sessions now. So thank you very much. I'll see my group in a minute in the session, and I'll see all of you for the second part when we finish the discussions.